Hello and welcome to the first ever second episode of Whoniverse.
Woo! Hey!
Shall we do the theme song again?
I think we're going to have to.
I think the feedback we've had.
Dum de 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 Doctor Who. Wow, you know what? Anyone that's walking past and hears that, I'm gonna think we're losers.
Yeah, well, you know, they're the losers for not being here.
Exactly. We're the cool kids.
We're the cool kids on the block. Whoniverse, currently the shortest running Doctor Who podcast from my research online. We're going to be, I think the shortest running Doctor Who podcast online is about 10 episodes long. So that's what we have to be, otherwise we're just the bottom of the pile. But I'm pretty certain we're one of the most popular ones. I think our podcast has gone viral in the office, so...
Yeah, excellent. They have all been on it today.
Yeah. So, as part of our first topic on Whoniverse, I have set you both some homework. Basically, Doctor Who specials are very special in our hearts, and they mean a lot to us. Kind of break up the seasons and give us an episode of Doctor Who when there were none. So, what is your favourite special episode of Doctor Who? I mean, I did say revival era, but really, you know, it's because I know, Brian, you're like you're the historian.
Old school.
Yeah, you're pretty old school compared to me and Lulu here. So what are your favourite specials, basically?
I'll give over to Brian for the first stuff.
Well, I've gone back in time, appropriately enough. There was an episode actually broadcast on Christmas Day back in the classic Who called The Feast of Stephen. It wasn't actually themed around Christmas or anything like that.
Does it involve cannibalism? The
Sadly,
Feast of Stephen.
Feast of Stephen, yeah. It was part of the 10 or 12 part, if I remember rightly, Dalek Master Plan.
Okay.
It wasn't intended to be anything to do with Christmas. It was just broadcast on Christmas Day, and either the director, Douglas Camfield, or Bill Hartnell just completely riffed it, turned to camera and said, "Merry Christmas, everybody." Completely broke the fourth wall. That is, as far as I'm aware, the only example of a Christmas special in classic Who.
Really?
Yeah. In terms of my favourite new Who special, it's not a Christmas one, it was the Easter one, Planet of the Dead.
Yeah.
Thought it just had everything. Fantastic unit were in it. Unfortunately, Lee Evans was in it, but you can't have everything.
Oh
yeah. I remember.
Now I remember, because you mentioned it before. I was like, "But Easter special," and now I'm thinking, it's the one with the bus, isn't it?
It was great. I loved it. A bus that travelled through space-time.
It was like we created a new number, like the Herm or something like that. The Herb? It was a herb.
Something like that.
It's like 24 herbs. Oh no, we've gone beyond the herbs. We need a new word.
We call them Malcolms.
Oh, that was Malcolm's. That was a really good episode. Yeah. I can't actually remember much about that episode now. It was so long ago.
It had Michelle Ryan in it, which
I can
quite
remember
good.
that about it, but yeah, as James says, I don't remember much about it myself.
I really enjoy it.
I just remember a lot of sand and a big red bus in a lot of sand.
It was very sandy.
Yeah.
I think we ate loads of sandwiches.
Oh, you did say we were going to bomb some puns out.
But
Yeah, exactly.
Lulu.
Right. Yeah. So mine's a little newer than.
Boring.
Cheers, man. Mine's a little newer than all of this. I'm actually going with the Doctor Who special Twice Upon a Time. It's Capaldi's regeneration episode. And there are a good number of things about this that I really, truly liked. The fact that David Bradley was playing the original Doctor, William Hartnell's Doctor was excellent.
He was amazing.
I think he really played it well.
When we found old scripts from the first Doctor, the lost episodes, we should remake them with him, and he'd be perfect.
Oh, excellent! Yeah,
maybe record them in black and white as well.
No, I like the way they phased in Hartnell's episodes to the episode, you know. So in the beginning, where David Bradley comes into it, Hartnell's the part of Hartnell's episode is played, and then you know it's sort of with newfangled technology, it melds the two together until eventually David Bradley stood there holding his lapels like only William Hartnell could. There's just so many things about this episode. The new frenemy, we don't know yet. Is this going to be the new frenemy? Do we know? Well, it was stated that it was friendly, but do we really know it's not going to come back and bite the Doctor?
Yeah.
In the posterior in the coming seasons. The one thing I would state that I really didn't like about the special though was was Capaldi's regeneration. I just felt that it lacked something that the rest of the regenerations really had, you know, and that was originality from the person regenerating.
But each regeneration is just a farewell to the Doctor, and I think in that episode what you're speaking about specifically wasn't just a farewell to the Doctor. That was Moffat's last episode, wasn't it? You know, it was his final. I think that was his own personal farewell as the Doctor. And I thought it was really good because like showing because Moffat's a lifetime Doctor Who fan as well, and I think it merged him with the first Doctor and at that point the latest Doctor was a really good way, you know, to like sort of complete the circle and say it's okay, because that way he was supposed to die then. But he got all his regenerations back. So that was supposed to be the end. No, Matt Smith was supposed to be the last one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but it was supposed to be like completing the circle, like sort of passing the torch.
Capaldi's Doctor anyway was reminiscent of Hartnell's Doctor with the way he dressed, you know, the way he acted and everything. I know that he's his own Doctor in his own right.
He was very smart, but
even down to the TARDIS as well. The way the TARDIS was set up was a bit more
circles,
old timey. Circles,
the round things.
Yeah, definitely.
I love the round things.
There were a couple of quotes in this episode as well that were, I think, a cut above the rest. There was a quote from Bill, Bill as, was it the Trinity, or what was the thing called that copied everybody in this episode?
The pilot?
No. Basically, it's the new frenemy. You know, we don't know whether it's good, it's bad. It's stated to be good in the episode, but it's called. Either way, it doesn't matter.
Give it a code name.
Yeah, we'll call it. We'll call it Bill.
Jeff.
Bill Jeff thing.
Bill Jeff. Okay, so Bill Jeff, a frenemy.
Yeah, the frenemy. We got. Right, and so this is a quote: "You dash around the universe trying to figure out what holds it all together, and you really don't know." She actually says, "You really, really don't know." But I thought, anyway, you know me from the future. Do I ever understand? Says David Bradley. No, I really don't think you do. And then she goes. Everyone who has met you knows, and that's the, you know, there's a little bit more to it, but it's pretty much it.
Okay.
Excellent quote. As well, there's a very emotional one somewhere near the end. He sees Clara again through the through this thing, and he says, "A life like mine. Do you understand what it is? It's a battlefield like this one. And it's empty because everybody else have fallen." I felt so emotional at this point. I was really on edge.
Because I think in like, especially in the kind of had a break from the Tennant era, but you know, in the Matt Smith era, it kind of portrayed the Doctor as a bit heartbreaky. Like feel sorry for me. I'm so emo now. I'm so edgy. Whereas remember Eccleston, he was like sort of like I always saw him as the badass Doctor.
He was.
You know, each one's it's like I can feel the earth rotating beneath my feet, and you'd really like feel like, oh my god, this guy's a bad. I'm not going to mess with him.
He's a little bit scary.
Yeah, he's really. I mean, when I was a kid, because he was my first Doctor.
Yeah.
I mean, it was 2000, so I wasn't really like much of a kid, and I was like 15. He creeped me out, man. creeped me out because it was like this person was like taking photos, and suddenly Eccleston was in this photo, he was in this photo, he was in this photo. And I'm like, oh my god, he's a stalker, and it scared me. I was like, oh my goodness.
I think Eccleston's regeneration is one of my favourite. You know, like it's just it's so, you know, it's so tongue in cheek. You know, like he says to Rose Tyler, "You were fantastic," and you know what?
So was I.
Excellent.
And the where was I? Well, that's right, Barcelona.
Barcelona.
Lieutenant, yeah.
Which is how I say Barcelona whenever Catherine and I talk about going away for a weekend somewhere, city break. I go, what about Barcelona?
One day they'll actually
Not
go.
the city, the planet.
My favourite special is The Day of a Doctor. That was my first taste. Cause like I wouldn't say I'm like a new Whovian anymore, but like because I really got into Doctor Who from the from the revival basically.
Mm-hmm.
So my experience with Doctor Who was very minimal. All it was about, I knew it was TARDIS. I recognised the TARDIS when it was on TV because in the promotions it was like. I was like, I know that from somewhere, but I didn't know what. And my grandma was like, "Do you seriously don't know, Jamie?" I was like, "Grandma, I don't. What's it from?" She goes, "Doctor Who." Doctor? What do you mean, Doctor Who? What's his name? And she's like, "Jim Jam. Doctor Who is the name of the program." I'm like, why? I don't understand. Why is it called Doctor Who? It's like, no one knows. So like, the 50th anniversary was like my first like real experience in celebrating Doctor Who, because it was always on TV. It was a bit niche really, and I think it still is kind of, which I'm going to go into in a bit as well, in regards to the ratings. But David Doctor really like. It was my first experience of all the Doctors coming. You probably experienced it 100 times, Brian, the classic Who. But it's my first experience. Like, I know all these Doctors are in the same room, and I'm like fanboying like crazy, like screaming. Ah! I watched it in the cinemas. The lights went down, and I shouted, "Hey, who turned out the lights?" Everybody laughed, and it was amazing. And it's just like, it's not so much the episode. But I liked it. It's the experience of the episode. A lot of people didn't like the 50th anniversary, but I thought it was perfect on so many levels.
Well, there's always going to be negative reviews on.
Yeah, I mean, Time Lord art has to be. I want Time Lord art in my house.
Definitely.
A frozen image of time itself, and the Zygons were hiding in there, but being tied. Spoiler alert, by the way. The Zygons.
If you've not seen it.
Yeah, if you've not seen it, it's been about 5 years now.
You should have seen it. Why
it
not?
already.
Yeah. Why are you listening to this podcast?
If you're obviously not a
Like,
fan.
we're going to review Class later on. If you haven't watched it now, you never will. And we're watching it, so you don't have to. But, like, I wish I got ratings for that one, actually. But I think it was the, what's it called when it's aired simulcast?
Yeah.
It's the highest rated simulcast in history. Which actually brings me on to the next subject. Specials have been going down in like sort of popularity. So I've got a list of them in the order they were released. So we've got 2005 Christmas Invasion. I'll go through them really quickly.
Yeah.
So 2005 Christmas Invasion, 9.84 million.
Yeah.
2006 The Runaway Bride, 9.35. So we've already seen a drop. And then Voyage of the Damned, 13.31. Next Doctor, 13.10. End of Time Part 1 and Part 2, 12 million apiece. Christmas Carol, 12.11. The Doctor, the Widow and the Wardrobe, 10.77. And then, for the first time since Runaway Bride, so it's been a fair while now, The Snowmen, 9.87.
Yeah.
And then it hits double digits one last time with the Time of the Doctor with 11.14. And then Last Christmas, 8.28. Husbands of River Song, which I thought was a horrible episode, 7.69. Return of Dr. Mysterio, which was a great episode, by the way. I just love a good comic stuff. It should have done a series on that guy. That would be a good spin-off, actually. 7.83. Twice Upon a Time, which was your favourite one. 7.92. And then the most recent one, Resolution, Jodie Whittaker's debut special, which we'd have thought would have garnered loads of tension.
I think we've discussed this one, and I believe that it deserved a lot better ratings than it got on that. But it does show a trend that the ratings have been dropping over time, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, why do you think that is? It really started. Its most drastic drops happened when Matt Smith left and Peter Capaldi took over.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it, excuse me, a little burp. A lot of the blame, I think, falls onto Moffat for overstaying his welcome, really.
Possibly.
I mean, Russell T Davies, he handled what's his name, Eccleston and Tennant. Matt Smith came in, handed the torch over to Moffat. So I guess they've both dealt with two doctors, really, haven't they?
Yeah.
But in regards to like time spent, Moffat has like sort of taken over everything.
Yeah, but that's only because Eccleston only stayed for one season, and then...
Yeah, I mean,
and you had 3 seasons apiece from Tennant and...
Yeah, each Doctor saved Eccleston and stayed on for 3 seasons. Mm-hmm. But what do you think has been the cause of the slips? Because you can't blame the stories of each of the specials because you don't know the story until you watch it. These are like on the day.
Yeah.
So what's caused it? I mean, I think the resolution, it was on New Year's Day, and most people work on New Year's Day. I know I spent most of my life never saw a New Year's Day. So like, who's going to be there to watch it?
Yeah.
I think we really missed the point in there. I actually think 7.1 on a New Year's Day is really good.
It is
considering a lot of people are at work. That's higher than normal views of a natural episode of Doctor Who. Not real, but I think it not being aired on Christmas Day is a big factor. But there is a clear trend.
Yeah, and to be fair, Christmas Day, what are you doing? You're at home with the family.
Yeah.
You've just finished Christmas dinner.
You just finished Christmas dinner, and you think to yourself, "What's on TV?" Well, you know what's on TV if you're us three, and or you're waiting for it. But the average viewer is thinking, "What's on TV?" It's become quite the British tradition to after your Christmas dinner flick the box on and watch Doctor Who.
It felt so weird not having Doctor Who.
Oh man,
Christmas was ruined.
Christmas was ruined. Some people don't get presents because we're grown-ups. The only presents we get are the ones we buy ourselves, and you took away the one thing we wanted. Do you know what their excuse was for not doing it? We've run out of ideas. There's no other Christmas, I don't know, Oliver Twist, mate. You could have done anything you wanted for a Christmas special.
It doesn't have to be set at Christmas.
No, it could have been set at New Year on Christmas, and aired on Christmas Day.
The return of Dr. Mysterio particularly Christmassy?
It snowed.
It snowed. It snows in April and May in this country, so I know it's set in the States, obviously, but
I don't know. It's February right now, and it was 15 degrees today. It's still blue skies right now.
Yeah.
But it's such a shame because this is, to me, it's sort of signaling the end of Doctor Who.
I'd like to think you were wrong, but I tend to agree. It's looking bad for Doctor Who.
How long did the classic series last, Brian?
Started
Stephen Steele, the Who historian.
1963, and I think
23rd of November.
Was it 87?
87, 88, maybe 89. So good 23 years.
And then
26 years.
In between there was the TV movie.
TV movie in 96.
Well, if you count it.
I mean, we're on 14 years of the revival series right now.
Yeah.
If my math is correct. Maths.
The UK maths.
One's British, one is wrong. We'll say about every episode now.
Yeah.
But it's really. I'm really scared, guys.
Yeah.
Doctor Who could go, and we'll be left with Big Finish. Not that there's anything wrong with Big Finish, but it's just something special about.
I still think
getting in your underwear, sitting in front of a TV, and watching Doctor Who marathons unwatched.
I still think at this point we're still on 7.13 million viewers, and these are only the specials. This isn't the series. I think at this point the death tolls haven't been rung. I think we need to see where it's going. In the future.
I mean, that's something else. Now this is something because I did a YouTube series before this, where I was reviewing each episode of Doctor Who as it aired on TV. So I just did it the following day. We'll probably look into that when it comes back on. Yeah. But there was a massive. After the Rosa Parks episode, which I cried by the way. After the Rosa Parks episode, there was a massive drop in views by about 20%. It was the largest drop of views in revival history. So, it's already showing in like the main series as well, where there are massive drops. I think we might do 2 more seasons of Whittaker because we're contracted to and they have to. But after that, I think we may consider, unless we can bring the views back up, they may have to consider an exit.
It would definitely be a sad thing if it was to end forever. I think it's still quite a big cash cow for the BBC.
You think so?
Yeah.
I mean, I think another one of the issues is, do you remember when Doctor Who used to be aired in 2 parts? So we'd do the first half of the series around Easter time, and the last half around approaching winter.
Yeah.
Now we're doing it all in one series. Isn't really a break, so there's bigger gaps between Doctor Who seasons now. So I think it's giving a lot of people to calm down, have a break from it, and find something else to do with their time. Which I know sounds selfish, but Doctor Who is life, yo.
Yeah, to me it's just a void.
Raggedy Man.
It's just a void, like you're waiting for the rest of the year to see the next season, and
it's like I've been watching Walking Dead for years. But at one point there was such a massive gap for Walking Dead to come back on. I missed the premiere, and now I'm not watching Walking Dead anymore because it's so difficult to catch up because I'm too far behind now because it took me so long for it to. I don't illegally pirate Lewis, I'm sorry. But it took so long for it to come back on, but I've kind of lost interest. I wonder if that's a similar case with Doctor Who. I know it's easier to get hold of on iPlayer if you do miss it, but still, the fact remains that the gaps are getting so massive that even this year, there's no Doctor Who this year.
Yeah.
It's gone. And there's entire year gaps without.
Not to mention this latest season of Doctor Who was shorter than the previous and shorter in a big way.
How much shorter?
3 episodes shorter. It was was it 10 episodes? If you count the Christmas special, the New Year's special, sorry, then you have 11. But without the Christmas special of the last season, there was 13 episodes. And some of the seasons have been even longer than that prior to this.
Yeah. So, final thoughts on that. Like, Brian, what would you do if you were in charge right now?
The main thing they should be doing is getting it back on a Saturday. I think that's also been a big factor.
Saturdays.
In dropping to a few million from the audience.
Yeah, Lewis?
I'd want to introduce some sort of cohesive storyline to it. I think that it's suffered from not having a direction, as well, especially in the latest season.
It's like we're all standalone stories, basically.
Yeah. I mean, there seems to be something emerging in terms of the Doctor's childhood, but they've only touched on it in this latest season. I really want to see them build on that in the next season. Yeah. If they're not building a cohesive storyline in that, then I don't know whether it's going to last, as you say.
And for me personally, like building on your 2 points, I think we should split it into 2 seasons again to sort of bring down the gap between series. So you still get your break, but you've always got more Doctor Who to look forward to, and it's never going to be more than a year.
Yeah.
Which right now it is literally a year to wait for Doctor Who, and it's just a special, and even less people will be watching the special because less people will be interested. So that's going to bring us smoothly on to Who News. I need a theme tune for Who News as well. Who News.
We need a different.
We do need a different theme tune.
We'll get a guy in. We'll get a guy.
We'll get him running. Ronnie Hazelhurst.
Do you know a guy who knows a guy? Yeah?
I know a guy who knows a guy, but has a cousin who knows a guy that can make the theme tune. So now on Who News, which is a working title. Rose, you know who Rose is?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if Brian knows.
I do, yes.
Rose Tyler. He's getting a Big Finish spin-off. Everyone's getting a Big Finish spin-off right now. Actually, so do you remember the episode where pretty much she gets landed in a altered dimension, basically?
Yeah.
In the multiverse. Basically, it's following her adventures as she tries to contact the Doctor to save the multiverse. It's just going to be a short series because obviously Billie Piper's a very busy lady, being a call girl. But would you listen to that?
Just say our lawyers have asked me to point out she portrays a call girl.
I personally, I hated Rose Tyler. I can't state how much I didn't like the character, but I think it had something to do with her being portrayed by Billie Piper.
She came across as very brutish. I always found.
Yeah, very. Yeah, I suppose like very, very brutish, very rough and ready. What can you say?
Yeah.
I did not have a problem with Rose. I thought when I first heard that Billie Piper was going to be the new assistant, when all the rumours were flying around, I thought, oh, my giddy aunt.
We didn't call them companions in Classic Who. They were just assistants.
Assistants, sorry, yes. Oh. Companions.
I've been saying this for ages.
Are you his new assistant?
You keep correcting me. You keep saying, oh, it's companions, I always call them assistants.
It was always assistants in Classic Who.
Yeah.
I need to watch some Classic. I can't wait till we finish class just because then we can move on to...
And I can set the homework.
And then Brian's going to take over the show, guys. Alex Kingston has been in talks, well, just with Jodie Whittaker, to return to Doctor Who. Basically, she's been speaking with her. Seems she'd be okay for to come back as a love interest for the Doctor, but wanted to make sure it wouldn't be too weird for her because now they're both women. Bow chicka wow wow.
I'm down with that. I'm completely down with that.
Yeah, why not?
River Song.
Well, you think about River Song's character, and you sure River's up for it. You know what I mean?
She's up for anything.
She really is.
She hits on anything that moves.
She is that type of roll with the punches sort of gal.
And there's one other thing as well. Stephen Fry is reported to have been spotted in 40s attire near a Doctor Who set, which also features 40s attire, where they typically film Doctor Who sets, abroad on location, so to speak. So, which really, not really much to say on that because we don't really know what... It's a time travel show, because it could be anything, it could be anywhere about anything, basically. Yeah. But it did prompt the thought, who else would we like to see guest star in Doctor Who?
Yeah, I think you had a good suggestion.
Yeah, I had a couple. And one I believe is unrealistic, but the other one, I think we should get Richard Ayoade, because I think he'd be quite playful with the role. Whatever you give him, he's quite adaptive in what he can do, and I just think it'd be an interesting time having Ayoade in the TARDIS.
He was rumoured, I think, to
play the Doctor. Yeah.
I think when Capaldi was chosen.
What about you, Brian?
He was my name bandied about. I thought about this.
Oh, you did?
I did. Yeah, believe it or not, I put some thought into this.
Because I told you what I wanted. God damn it.
I'd like to see Sean Pertwee. Possibly playing the Third Doctor somehow.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd like that. I like Brian. Yeah. You got the best
He's
ideas.
looking more and more like his old man the older he gets.
He played Alfred in Gotham as well.
He did.
I don't know if you saw that.
I watched the first series of Gotham.
He is he's probably the best character in the entire show. He comes across as it's a show about young Batman, but Alfred is Batman in that show. Yeah. And Sean Pertwee, it's just so good. Personally, much how Peter Capaldi was introduced into Doctor Who, I'd like in that the Roman episode. Yeah. Fires of Pompeii, I think the episode was.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
I like Idris Elba to pop in as a guest star and then appear as the Doctor later on.
I thought Idris wasn't interested in the role, though.
Idris is interested in the role.
Dude, you can't make him interested in the role just because you want him to be.
I know where he lives. I will say to him, I want you to be my first black Doctor.
Let's bombard him on Twitter if he's on Twitter.
I hope so. Idris Elba. I just think it'd be really great if it saved his life, and it turns out he was a Doctor all along, but he was like protecting his identity because he didn't want any. I just created a great storyline. It was an attack of the Daleks. Idris Elba is captured, and the Doctor, Jodie Whittaker, goes and saves Idris Elba, and he's like, "Thank you for saving me, Doctor." And Jodie Whittaker's like, "How does he know I'm a Doctor?" And then she regenerates and turns into a black man. And it was him all along.
Just a black man or Idris Elba.
We're definitely going with Idris Elba.
Yeah, and then he looks at me and like, oh, it was me all along. And then turns to the camera and says, how about you?
Quick, get Chris Chindle on the phone.
Wait, what would you see Idris's catchphrase as?
You just got blacked out. I don't know.
Alright.
Oh dear.
He'd have to be some. He'd be quite an actiony style doctor, though. You know.
He's just such a naturally cool guy. He's got such. He has authority in every room. I think as much as I love Jodie Whittaker, I don't think she has any authority in what she does. I feel like we should have got someone who. I mean, I don't get me wrong. I really like her, but I feel like she doesn't really command a room when she walks into it, which is something the Doctor does. I think you had some news, didn't you, Bri?
Turning to classic. Students, I think, of Cardiff University are recreating an episode called Mission to the Unknown.
Yeah.
Which it's described as a cutaway episode. So it's kind of a prequel to the Daleks' master plan. So they showed Mission to the Unknown, then showed another episode, another story, and then showed the Dalek master plan.
Okay. So are we sort of extending it, or
they're just remaking it or recreating the episode?
Is it one of the lost episodes?
It's one of the many lost episodes.
Many lost episodes. So on Twitter, I actually posted a pile of Doctor Who canisters to Brian and said he must be sweating right now because it was a fake picture saying 50 Doctor Who episodes have been found.
You're evil.
I know. Thing is, every time there's a report that comes forward saying, "Oh, we found new canisters," first comment is Doctor Who. Doctor what? It's so sad what happened to Doctor Who. There are some episodes we will never see. Is there any episodes that are lost only visually, but are all the episodes available in some form?
I don't know. I know there's a lot where there's only the soundtrack available.
Yeah. And so the remade was into anime.
Some have been animated, some have used what are called telesnaps.
Got animated.
Yeah.
It's
a hard watch, the telesnaps ones.
I've seen some of them. A lot of Hartnell's episodes suffered from this. The animation ones are easy enough to get behind. It's in black and white as well, the animation, but they're easy enough to get behind because you're seeing some form of picture moving as well. A big animation fan, so it doesn't really perturb me from watching this sort of thing. But yeah, you have to listen to the episodes that only have snaps as you would a podcast. It's the only way to do it because it's a very hard watch, as Brian says.
Have we got a release date for that remake?
I haven't, unless there's something on the interweb. So I've just been looking here about Mission to the Unknown, and it's got nothing about the remake of it. So
that's okay. That's okay. If you do find it, we can come back to it later.
Yeah.
So the next subject, the next section, we called it Who Pulls last week. Got a new title for the section. Would you like to do the honours, Lewis?
Where are we?
The next section.
The next section?
Voting.
Okay, here we go. So basically, the question was, what... I think it's been written incorrectly.
What's the section called?
Oh, voting in the TARDIS.
Voting in the TARDIS, guys. Lewis cannot handle direction.
I cannot.
Right. So go on, you introduce this section.
All right, so
you've already messed it up.
Basically, in this section, a question is posed, and then you, the viewers at home or the listeners at home, have to the listeners. Okay, well, viewers maybe in the future, but listeners currently have to tell us what your thoughts are. So the question here, even though I reckon Jamie's messed this up a little because it says, "What is the best time travel show?"
Series.
A series. It says show though.
Does it?
It does
I
say show.
apologise. It's supposed to say series for that very reason.
So it says show. It says shows, but not only that, we all
Okay.
know that the best time travel show is Doctor Who. You know.
Right, that's why, listeners, Doctor Who was not included in the options as discussed last week, when Doctor Who won by a landslide of 72%, which really begs the question: who were those over 28%? So the candidates were for best time travelling series were Timeless. I've never seen that one.
I saw a bit of it, but
apparently it's really good and we should watch it. Apparently,
it's okay.
Bill and Ted. Never heard of them.
Shut up, Jamie. You know you've heard of Bill and Ted. You were the one who told me Bill and Ted 3 was coming out.
Quantum Leap.
Excellent.
Which was a suggestion by Bye.
Yeah.
And
good show.
Legends of Tomorrow. Now, I already know you vote for Timeless because neither of you have seen it. Yeah. But out of those options, who would you have voted for? And if it's not on there, you can't say Doctor Who, by the way. Who would you have voted for?
I'd have had to go for Quantum Leap.
Quantum Leap.
Part of my childhood.
Bri, if if there wasn't another option on there that I was more drawn to, I would have gone Quantum Leap as well. But Bill and Ted, definitely Bill and Ted. I've seen those movies so many times.
You don't feel like there's anything missing from the list? I did get some complaints originally.
There probably is a good number of things missing from the list. The Time Machine, possibly that would have been a good show.
Now, the Time Machine was in one of the previous ones where we were like best time traveler.
So we'd already exhausted that.
Yes, we'd already really done that one with Alexander Hadinger. So you don't feel like there's anything missing from the list? Nothing that really pops out. I mean, Quantum Leap is pretty.
I can think of a million things if we're talking about anime, but in terms of anime, I'd say Steins Gate is not on that list, and it should be.
Okay, so I'll read out some comments from. Personally, it's Legends of Tomorrow for myself. Legends of Tomorrow, if you've never seen it, is.
I haven't. I've seen it.
In style of writing, it's kind of how you'd want Doctor Who to be. At times, it's one cohesive storyline all the way throughout, but it's got its own individual stories weaved into it. It's not as dramatic as Doctor Who, but it's a roller coaster of fun.
Yeah.
So we got Anti-Dr. Joe, very tough, but got to go for Quantum Leap. Bakula and Stockwell, whoever they are, a great double act and just enjoyable series. I'm sorry, Brian. Who are they?
Scott Bakula. He's the main guy in it.
He's the main guy.
Yeah,
I've never seen it.
Have you ever heard of Scott Bakula though?
I'm with
He was
Jamie
in.
on this. I've not
He was
heard
on the Star Trek reboots.
Oh, the new
Enterprise,
one.
I think it was.
Oh, that's not a reboot.
Enterprise. Yeah, he's in Quantum Leap, isn't he? Yeah.
Okay.
And Stockwell, Harry Dean Scott.
Bakula's Jonathan Archer in. I know he's from.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
That's him.
Yeah. We've also got Rick Turner, OC. And now this is a really good callback. I don't know if either of you have seen this, but this was a great show. Sliders was another one for a couple of series.
Sliders wasn't time travel though. It was parallel.
Yeah, I was originally going to put it in the series in the list, but when I remembered there was time traveling elements, but when we were time traveling, it was always in a different. It was a dimensional series.
Yeah.
Which would be great if we had a dimensional pole, but it's not, wasn't it? It was a time travelling pole.
To be fair, the writing wasn't overly brilliant in that show, but I remember it fondly from.
When I was a kid watching the show, this is how dim I was. It's kind of like with the TARDIS when I first saw that. I was like, why is it called Sliders? I was waiting for the landmark episode where they finally went to the park and went down a slide. Victoria Novak says Legends because they are totally insane. And you know what, she is right. Who do you think won?
What, in terms... let's think. I'd say Legends just because of... It's a new show.
It's more fresh in people's minds.
People's minds. Quantum Leap, even though it's timeless, it's...
timeless.
Very good.
It's an older show. I don't think Timeless actually has the exposure that it needs to win this, and Bill and Ted again an old show.
Okay, so if you would say first and last,
I would say first I would go with Legends of Tomorrow. Last I would go with Timeless.
I'd agree.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. You're both half right.
Okay.
Legends.
With 11% of votes, got Timeless.
Oh,
21% of the votes, Bill and Ted. Now, let me tell you, it was extremely close between Legends of Tomorrow and Quantum Leap. There were just over 600 votes on this one. Okay, and I did some calculations. The difference between them both, our percentage is a couple percent. The difference was a couple hundred votes between them. At 32% was Legends of Tomorrow, which brought Quantum Leap number 1.
Holy crap!
At 36%. It was. I'll be honest. Legends of Tomorrow was ahead for a lot of the period. They literally broke first last night. That's how close it was. What do you think the poll should be? Now, I have told you both to think, because you said I put you both on the spot last week.
Yeah.
So I've given you some time to think about it.
We have had a discussion, haven't we?
Yeah, we actually discussed this. So we were thinking the best craft to have travelled through time, excluding the TARDIS, obviously.
Okay, yeah. So
so it doesn't matter if
so
it's
the
not a time
DeLorean
machine.
would be an obvious one.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter if it's not a time machine. It just has to have travelled through time. So you could include the Enterprise in that. You could include so many other things.
All right, so can I just jump straight in? The Wave Rider from Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
It just has to be in there. Okay.
The
Wave Rider would be my choice. Brian, what's your favourite? How do we do it in Quantum Leap?
There's no craft involved. It's a push button thing, and so it's not really a craft.
Bit like the time manipulator, like Harkness has. What's that called? I can't remember.
It's sort of like
I love Quantum Leap, but it's a very, very long time since I watched it.
Yeah. Basically, the original episode, they're sort of they're in a room where he's connected up to the machine, and then after they leave the initial room, which the machine is stored in, all he does to change time is he gets Ziggy. Is it Ziggy?
Ziggy's his computer. Yeah.
Gets Ziggy on the phone and goes, like
Ziggy-doo,
Ziggy-doo.
Ziggy-doo.
Beam me up, Scott.
Ziggy playing guitar.
He goes to the next timeline where he'll deal with something else.
Right. So, DeLorean.
I've got one. The puddle jumper from Stargate. It's got
the puddle jumper. So, DeLorean, Wave Rider, puddle jumper.
Bill and Ted's phone box.
Yeah,
I know it's very TARDIS-y, but
it's fair play. It's fair play
on the inside.
Okay, so that's what. Who do you think's going to win? This is going to be a really close one. I can tell.
I think a lot of people will go with DeLorean.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the Wave Rider. I don't know.
You just hope the Wave Rider.
The puddle jumper's going to come last.
I don't think so. Like Stargate has a hardcore fan base. Trust me.
Is it really called the puddle jumper?
Well,
I'm gonna look up its actual name and put that in. By the way,
basically, no. The thing is, it's the Alteran technology in Stargate SG-1. I'm digressing here. I know, but they never know the name of the machinery in the Alteran language, so they make a name up and they call it a puddle jumper.
Sorry, puddle jump to me is slang for a homosexual.
Okay.
Well, we went there.
Moving swiftly away from that. Next topic. We got Hoorie Hoo. Another working. Most of the titles for these sections are working titles. Yeah. Hoorie Hoo is a very temporary title because we're going to replace it with the History lessons. Is that what you want to call it, Bri?
I like the History lessons. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to be looking at classic Who episodes each week. In any specific order, or
none whatsoever.
Okay.
The order I want to watch them.
Well, Brian's our master. So, you both completed the second bit of homework I gave you.
Absolutely, just about.
I know you finished it whilst I was working and I was there watching
it very recently.
So what did you think of the second episode? An improvement or
massive improvement on episode 1?
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it.
So like story wise, what were we thinking?
It's coming together you're seeing the struggle of I haven't learnt the character's names
we'll
yet.
call him nicknames.
Sing is his second name. I know Sing's his second name, so I'll call him Sing.
Is he the one with one leg?
He's the one with
I've
one
been calling him Cripple, but go on.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
I know his surname's Singh because his uncle was world karaoke champion. Grew up to.
Oh right, okay.
Really? Did you make it up?
Yeah.
Grew up to sing.
No, I'm sorry. You're gonna have to explain that.
You're gonna have to-
Get up to sing.
Get up to sing.
Oh my
okay.
goodness.
Okay.
Oh, Brian.
Oh, that is amazing.
I just died.
Okay.
How many kids are you having? Because you've got the dad jokes down.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on. I believe that the struggle that Singh, is very good, in the whole development of his character. You know, we seem to be concentrating on him in this episode. There was a weird shower scene with the coach, though. I think I talked to you about this earlier, Jamie, and I was kind
I said save it for the podcast, but people need to hear this.
Yeah. It was definitely weird. The coach mentioning something like, we're breaking about 17 laws by you being here, or something like that, while he's going to get in the shower.
And then he strips off and gets in the shower.
Yeah.
I didn't know, I was assuming they had a personal shower or something in high schools.
You would think that they would, but apparently not.
Like in my high school, we didn't really have communal showers. It's like no one really did sports or anything, so it's never really used.
No, we did in my high school.
Our PE
But nobody ever used
our
it.
PE teacher
Everybody
used to
was
shower
ours.
with us.
Did he? Are you
Maybe
okay?
maybe
want-
this is
Do you want to talk about
maybe this is
it?
something I should say for the therapy.
Yeah, probably. PTSD.
Brian.
Don't clean it like that, boy.
This is a safe place.
It's okay. Right.
I really love the focus on One Leg Joe.
Is that what we're calling him?
I can't remember his
Cassidy.
name. On Singh Junior.
Yeah.
Was his
is-
name
is-
Ram Singh? I believe. Ram Singh?
Ramming. But
Okay.
I just really love this person because he's like the big guy, big kid on campus. You know, he's like everyone looks to him as sports.
Yeah.
He's the athlete. He's the big one. He's the overachiever.
Yeah.
And he's pretty much a badass. You know, but now he's like he can't play football anymore. He walks with a limp. And people are gonna start calling him Captain Hook if he's not careful, and or peg leg or something. But it's gonna have to relearn how to walk, and it's like coping with that. And it seems to have PTSD where everything that happens, if you were to put ketchup on a burger, is that thinking about the blood splattering on his face?
That's it. I was just thinking about the way in both episodes so far he has
He's ended up splattered
in blood.
It's a running theme.
Are we going to have him splattered in blood every episode? I'm up for it.
Just wait until he gets a girlfriend and he's getting laid and he gets splattered in blood again.
Oh no.
Jamie,
He'll be like, not again.
It's supposed to be family friendly.
the
this
PG
podcast.
filter, please.
I'm
Jamie.
sorry.
The PG. You were the one who told me about this.
I said no swearing. I didn't think. But no, I really, 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 really enjoyed this episode enormously, and I loved the special effects on his leg. It was definitely a him episode, wasn't it?
It was.
But the effects on his prosthetic leg, it was amazing. I'm struggling. I want to know why this show was cancelled now, because right now it's really, after I know you found it to be a weak first episode, Bri. And I thought it was quite weak as well. It wasn't perfect. I think give it a 7 out of 10. You give it a 3.
Yeah.
You're horrible. And you give it a 5.
Yeah,
Lulu.
I was really
Didn't do
on the
my
fence
research. I've
about
just got
it.
good memory. But this is such a massive. It was almost. I find class to be Doctor Who's B stories. So acting wise. What do you?
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Your main issue with the previous episode was the acting was horrible. That's my Brian impression.
It's uncanny.
I think it's a mixed bag with actors. There are different levels of talent in the show, as there are in any show, really.
Yeah.
I think Singh's got it down. And the teacher, I love the teacher. Do we know her name, or we just?
Right, that teacher, in acting wise, I'd say she's the weakest of the bunch.
Do you think?
She's she's one of the few characters in the show that I don't find believable.
Do you not?
No, I don't find like. She's there, like, in class saying, oh, you know, we're masturbating with the window open again, are you getting tired? And it's like, I don't see her as, like, a teacher figure, and she doesn't seem to... She's the same in the classroom where she is everywhere else. When she's in school, she's supposed to be a different character, but she's the same character all the way through. She doesn't change one bit. She's not, like, proper stern and strict and, like, an authority figure one section. I remember a protector of her student the next. She's just one constant character who doesn't change.
I think given enough time, I think they're going to turn her into what's known in anime circles as a tsundere, which is someone who is hard and cold, you know, to start with, and you won't get along with them, and eventually turns into. I know she's never going to be the mushy character, this sort of thing, but it turns into the loyal and.
She made out with a robot. Yeah,
she did make out with a robot.
She did.
What was the robot all about? Actually, we didn't get answers, but
I feel sorry for her fridge.
Well, she's definitely not.
Actually, maybe the vacuum is more a risk, and you know, with you know, the thing is, my wife would refuse to watch the second episode with me. She to quote, the show is so boring and it can't keep her interested. She actually it's weird because last week I said she said she enjoyed it, but now she refuses to watch it anymore.
Is your wife a Whovian?
She is a Whovian. I met her through Doctor Who. Oh, someone's popular. We're recording podcasts! Shoot. But yeah, so like, if you want to wrap it up, you know, well, this section anyway, like, if you were to like give it a rating and maybe say how you'd improve the episode, or if it's anything you do differently, what...
I thought it was solid. I'd give it a 7.
A 7?
Yeah, massive improvement on last week. Can't really think of much I've changed, to be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd rate it a little higher than Brian. I think it deserves an 8 this episode. We saw more character development. Just touching quickly on who I thought was the worst acting in the bunch. The younger girl. The younger girl.
Of the 14-year-old.
Yeah, the 14-year-old.
What's her
girl.
name?
I have no idea. You know, like
the one who's 2 years ahead of everyone else.
Yeah, we really need to learn names on this thing, guys. So we're not having these discussions. What's her name? Or
we'll get a board up next time. This is who, and we'll be like pieces of string linking all the characters.
Yeah, I think that her acting's a little wooden. You know, but as for what I'd change, with this episode, not much, as Brian says. It was a good solid 8.
Yeah, I'm in complete agreement. I believe in it. You know, I agree with an 8. I really love the monster in this one as well.
Yeah,
absolutely phenomenal. It actually, while I said it earlier, it did feel, you know, it do feel like B stories in Doctor Who. It feels like one of their original, you know, aliens.
Yeah.
You know, that's come through the butthole of
Yes,
the butthole of time. Did we call it something?
Something like that.
I love that.
Yeah,
it's coming through the butthole. Sorry, I did my Brian impression again.
Again.
But an 8 out of 10. Yeah, I think it's very fair and it's very close. I think Brian's closer to agreeing with me for once, because he's.
I agree with you.
I agree with you.
I like the way they're dealing with their own monsters and not relying on the whole Doctor Who staples to keep them afloat. You know.
I love how we didn't actually fight it, but just sort of did the you did it the Doctor's way, where it's like use their own rationale, like this is what's happening, this is how you can save yourself and save the one you love, rather than being controlled, rather than going ahead and like, you know, and the teacher said, go on ahead, go get attacked so I can do something, like, because I thought it's going to be violence, because it is a very bloody show compared to Doctor Who.
Yeah, it's definitely.
But I found it to be very intellectual in that sense, where they really did think outside the box, because I always found violence to be the easy answer to every villain, really.
Yeah.
And so they did take the Doctor Who format of this is how you defeat a villain, you talk your way out of it. Which, really begs the question, Doctor Who's not a war doctor at all. He's like, I've got a screwdriver. I'm going to fix all your problems like a fairy.
Yeah.
And he prances around in his stilettos. Oh, I know, that's Missy. Never mind. But yeah, so we're in agreement. It was a much better episode. And for once, are you looking forward to next week's?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, actually, I'm feeling positive about next week's episode.
I think it's going to get really bad because we're about to find out. I think soon we'll be finding out why it got cancelled.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was looking up online as to why it got cancelled, and though I got into spoiler territory, so I stopped reading. But generally, the general consensus was it was a spin-off no one wanted or needed.
Yeah.
Which is true. It didn't. Class should have started in Doctor Who the series and then spun off from there rather than just stand alone, and then kind of done it the other way around where Doctor Who came to it. So you know how Torchwood started in Doctor Who and then went away. We should have done it that way again. Well, So we're on to another section. It's a favourite.
Someone's favourite.
I like the no cheating.
Yeah, in both your notes I wrote down no cheating. There's a theme song for this section. For Whoniverse or Hogwash. Whoniverse or Hogwash, Whoniverse or Hogwash, it's a real as a working title.
Working theme tune.
Whoniverse or Hogwash. Brian and Lewis.
I can feel the tension already.
Right, who wants to answer this one first?
I'll let Brian.
Thank you.
No worries, Brian.
I was about to volunteer to go first.
Combat magics. How do you win a battle when the dead fight on? The TARDIS arrives in Gaul in 451 AD on the eve of battle between the forces of Attila, the Hun, and those of a crumbling Roman Empire. Now, this is very important. Magics is spelled Magics. Now I can reread it.
I'm gonna go with.
Right. For the listeners, Brian is sweating right now because he'll let everyone down with the classic Who one.
Well, it's definitely not classic. I'm going to go with both being true. So a true episode and a true description.
Lewis. Lulu. King Louis.
Right.
Do you want to reread it for you?
No, I'm trying to place the episode.
Just so you know, in your sheets of paper, I did mention that it's Whoniverse. I never said Doctor Who episode.
Yeah, no, but the Doctor is in this one. You confirmed in the statement that the Doctor.
Did I?
Did you? Can you reread it, please?
Of course I can. How do you win a battle when the dead fight on? The TARDIS arrives in Gaul in 451 on the eve of battle between the forces of Attila, the Hun, and those of the crumbling Roman Empire.
Right, I'm gonna say it's hogwash because I don't think Attila the Hun got that far across. But saying that, has it ever stopped Doctor Who from bombing out something like that before? I'm just going to say hogwash. Push the boat.
Well, guys, it is 1-0 to Bri.
Oh, Bri.
It is Whoniverse, released in 2018. This is the first hardback book based on the 13th Doctor's adventures outside of the mainline series.
Right.
1-0 to Brian, the historian of the group.
You did say that you were going to bomb in some more mediums, didn't you?
Next one. Land of the Lost. The Doctor is left 70 million years in the past when the Master causes the TARDIS to crash after his capture.
I'm going to say it's Whoniverse.
You going for it? That's your final answer?
Whoniverse, final answer.
Bri, I can repeat it.
Complete and utter hogwash.
I bombed it again, haven't I?
The land of the lost. The Doctor is left 70 million years in the past when the Master causes the TARDIS to crash after his capture. Is hogwash. 2-0 to Brian. This is actually an episode of Legends of Tomorrow.
I've seen it as well. That's what made it real for me.
This is fun. You've been destroyed, but you can still make a return.
Can I?
You can still make a return.
But am I only on a draw now? Is that it?
There's 5 questions.
Oh, so there's 3. Yeah, I see.
Yeah, it's always an odd number just in case.
Yeah, but I have to. It means that I have to get this right 3 times in a row, and Brian has to get it wrong 3 times in a row.
It's possible.
It is.
Okay. Illegal Alien. This is a song by English rock band Genesis. It is released as the 4th single from the album Genesis. The song reached number 46 in the UK charts. Whoniverse or hogwash?
What the hell?
I'm trying to think whether Stuart Collins would be a Doctor Who fan or not. And I've got something vaguely in the back of my mind. I'm going to say Whoniverse.
You're going to say Whoniverse? Okay.
I'm going to go with hogwash. Because I need the win. I'm done anyway. Either way, if I get it right or wrong.
Well, Lewis, you need to agree with Brian more often. It is Whoniverse. This is a book written in 1997 featuring the 7th Doctor in his battles against the Cybermen. So that's 3-0 to Brian.
Brian's won already.
Right, can I just say, there's no coming back, so the next 2 are just for fun.
Yeah.
Don't pass the salt. The Doctor and his companion is trapped. The Cybermen, want to upgrade him. Time is ticking, and only time will tell. Shall I repeat it? I won't make a mistake this
It's
time.
a bit of a vague description. That is pretty much every Cyberman episode ever a description of. So I mean, they always want to upgrade him. You know, the time is always running out. I'd say it's hogwash. I want to believe it's hogwash.
Hogwash.
Gosh. It is hogwash. This is actually a Doctor Who fan fiction novel where the Doctor and Captain Jack Harkness get jiggy.
BL.
Next one. It is less dramatic because we already know who wins. Lewis, you're no longer the champion.
I know.
Just so you know.
What can I say? I'll come back stronger next week.
The Eternity Clock. Follow the Doctor as he travels through space and time to gather pieces of the Eternity Clock and ultimately save Earth.
It's me first, isn't it? Sorry. I think. Whoniverse.
Saying
I don't know, I said it in that way. Whoniverse.
Whoniverse. Hogwash.
Excellent.
Practicing how to pronounce words.
I'm going to go with hogwash because I believe it's taken from somewhere else. The storyline's taken from somewhere.
So you're going with hogwash?
I am, yeah.
And you're going with Whoniverse?
Yes. Well, I'm going with Whoniverse.
Whoniverse. So, the Eternity Clock is actually Whoniverse.
Oh.
This was actually the first big budget Doctor Who game that was released on the PlayStation 3. Lewis,
Yeah, okay.
who needs to learn Doctor Who a bit more. Well, it's been a
Fairly
great,
comprehensive, wasn't it?
it's been a great first ever second episode of Whovian Whoniverse, starring myself, Jamie,
Myself, Lewis.
Myself, Brian.
and you've been listening to Whovian Whoniverse. But wait, I forgot the shout outs, which I only left on your sheets.
Yes.
Brian, if you can do the honours, but leave out
Yes.
the one that's got 16 at the start of it because he doesn't want to be shouted out.
Does he not?
So it's just a logo one.
Yeah, thanks to Zit Farm for designing the logo. Be sure to check out her deviant art, which sounds
DeviantArt is a website, Brian.
All right.
You upload your art on it, and it's very pretty. I actually recommend you go see Zit Farm, which, by the way, is an amazing username.
It is.
Yeah, go visit Zit Farm's DeviantArt. Some amazing drawings on there. It's beautiful. Well, you've been listening to Whovian Whoniverse. Have a week!
Well, I think that's...